Welcome everyone to this brief video around using the Winnie-Bot in the OCGR Discord chat room to join and manage word wars. On behalf of me, J.E. Gillikin, and the ML, Casalia, and the other two ML helpers, Shadow Moon Sadai and RCK the writer, we wish you the very best for a successful November. And we know that part of that success comes from word wars, sometimes called sprints. We have two different mechanisms for doing word wars in this virtual year. One of them uses the war room. Now the war room, as you can see, lots of people use it. It's a great tool. And the nice thing about the war room is that you don't need permission to come in here. You can go in at any time. You can start a war. You can engage in a war. You don't need to ask for approval. Just go ahead and make it happen. This is first come, first served, and you can even have more than one war going on at a time. So no problems there. The other option are through our events. We ask that you only join an event if you've RSVP'd in the calendar, because these event rooms are reserved for the specific intentions for which the calendar had allocated to them. So for example, I host a Saturday morning write-in, and I've been allocated event room A and event room voice A. We don't want people to just randomly do wars in here during somebody's scheduled event, nor do we want people to pop in here between events just because the space appears to be empty. The war room is your spot to just do whatever you want. The events room is really more aggressively managed by the ML and the ML helpers. So let's talk about this. Let's assume you're starting a war. Now we use Winnie-Bot. We also have WriterBot on the server. My advice with Winnie-Bot is to use the war function. This is super cool, and it actually is federated across the world so that, as wars occur, you get raptors and that sort of thing. And those are fun. So let's talk about starting a war. There's a specific logic that you have to follow, and that is a command to the bot in the text message box. So when you're in a message, if we want to start a war, we do exclamation mark, because that's Winnie-Bot's signal that she's being talked to, and say war. Now we have to give some parameters here. So the first parameter that we give is a duration. So we're going to, and it's in minutes, so we're going to do a 15-minute war. We're going to start it in 2 minutes, and we're going to give it a name. We're going to call it Jason's Test War. When I execute that command, Winnie-Bot tells me that Jason's Test War starts in 2 minutes. Now, starting a war is important. The people who participate also need to join. You do that through the join command with your parameter. So 10742, which is the ID of this war. When I do that, I have now joined Jason's Test War. The reason that you have to specify these ID numbers with Winnie-Bot is because lots of wars happen all around the world at any given time. And in theory, particularly in the war room, you could have 2 or 3 wars going simultaneously that overlap each other. So this function of specifying your ID is the way that you succeed in being in the war that you want without there being any sort of conflict. That's why the war room is okay to have more than one war going on at a time. Nobody has a problem with that. Now, we give it a 2-minute start. So Winnie-Bot just told me that it's going to start in 1 minute. Woohoo! As we're waiting for Winnie to start the war, I will say that in the challenges section, which I've highlighted up here, you will see the various commands that you can do. If you started a war, you can cancel it by doing exclamation mark cancel, and then typing in that ID number. That'll stop the war. Maybe you joined it, but you don't want to be in it. You can do exclamation mark leave, again with that ID number. That'll get you out of it. You can even do list to show you, we'll get rid of sesh here. We've got more than one bot going at a time, that there are 2 wars going on nationally. So my war starts in 10 seconds. Woohoo! But 70141 is JC's war in the Writers Helping Writers Discord. which is somewhere else, not even affiliated with Nano, I don't think. So now Winnie has given me the official start that the war is taking place. So that is cool. When the war ends, you will have an option to tell it your statistics. So we're going to pause for a minute. I want to, reiterate that we've got these commands and they're a little bit goofy. They are, however, pinned. So go to the pin and you can get a quick summary. You don't have to scroll, you don't have to remember, just click the pin and it'll show you. Now, Winnie gives us a couple other tools as well. Let me talk about these for a minute. There are goals. These are all personal to you. So you can set your time zone. You can set a goal. You can update your goal. You can overwrite your goal. And these are word count goals. So if I typed set, Winnie says she needs a goal. Again, we'll get rid of sesh here. So I want to set my goal at 3,000 words today. Oops, I have to do time zone first though, because this is a national thing. And we'll remove sesh here. This is going to be really super annoying in the real world. All right. Oh, okay. So we'll do America, New York. So that's now my time zone. Now I can set 3,000. Go away, sesh. So my goal today is 3,000 words, and because I set my time zone, it knows what the day actually means. That's why we had to go through that rigmarole. When it gives us a couple, so with that, I can then update. So maybe I have written 100 words of my 300 word goal. Woohoo, yay me. I can also do an overwrite. This means I don't remember where I was at, but this is where I'm at now, so just overwrite it. I can reset it, and I can also do goal info. And it gives me my summary of where I'm at. So those are goals. These are completely optional. Some people enjoy them. You can run this actually in the war room yourself. You don't need to be in the middle of a war to use this tool. So if you want to set yourself some goals to keep you on track throughout the day, go to the war room and use Winnie-Bot's goals here to make that happen. There are also a series of tools here. So let's look at some of those. One of them might be target. So when you specify target, Winnie tells you that it needs to be easy, medium, hard, or insane, and then you put in the number for where your word war. So you want to like, how many words can I write in 15 minutes? Target. Medium, 15. And Winnie says, my goal is 300. So that's a nice tool. You have prompt roll. Prompt gives you a prompt. Roll gives you 3 different bots. So pick whichever one you want. I think we're going to limit some of these other bots, but Winnie gives me a score of 1. Another cool thing, Raptors and Stats. So let's do Raptors. This tells you how many raptors are hatched by Winnie-Bot after these wars by region. So the Australians are wicked about this. They always are there a lot. Actually, we are pretty high up there. I don't think we're in the top 10, but we may be close. I know last year we were in the top 10 for a while. And then stats. Winnie doesn't want to tell me the stats right now. That's okay. You do not need to worry about config Those are for administrators only. There you go. So we will, and it gives you a countdown too, by the way. So let's do this real quick. Let's do cancel. One at 742. And go away, Sash. Or it's been canceled. We could, for 1 minute and 1. So my test 2 war starts in 1 minute. We're going to let this through because I want to show you how to update your word count. But we're not going to do it in a 15-minute war. We'll do it in a 1 minute war. Meanwhile, I will say that these are pretty straightforward, and again, you can always pin them. So I've been scrolling up, but I don't need to. I can just jump at the pin. And these will get you through most of whatever you need to do. We encourage you, because these Raptors are kind of a popular thing, particularly with the Australians, if you go into the war room and you use Winnie-Bot to run wars all the time, those help us. They get our Raptor count higher, and there's no benefit to it. It's just kind of pride of place. We enjoy those. So now my test 2 starts now. I need to join 743 because you can't. You actually do have to join these in order to make them work. And as we let this war kind of count down for less than a minute, I also want to give you an insight into some other wars. I know that some of the events that are already on the calendar are voice only. Those will typically be hosted by somebody whose voice video, it's more social, more chatty. And the host may just have like a countdown timer on, the smartphone that they run. So they won't be using Winnie-Bot to track your stats. If you're in a war like that, you are welcome to use the war room to track things on your own if you feel like it. The host may not be using Winnie-Bot, but there's nothing that precludes you from doing it. All right. So my war has ended. For me to log my stats, total 10743, that's the war number. And then how many words did I have? I had 250. Woohoo! We have now 250 words added to the summary. And we have, and I've written now 350 words of my 3,000 word goal. So Winnie does track word wars, and it automatically adds them to the goal that you had specified. So you can use the goals inside or outside of a war. Winnie keeps track if they happen inside of a war as well. In this case, I hatched a raptor. We now have 1 raptor. That's really unusual because we should have many more than that, but I will leave that for Mel to determine. So, folks, that is it for wars. I hope this was helpful. We hope this is a tool that works well for you in the coming November. Have fun with it, and if you need help, reach out to the ML or any of the ML helpers, or post to the Help and Questions channel, and we will get to you as soon as we can. So thanks much, and see you at our next event.